What if I told you that ADHD can be reversed? It's not about forcing your brain to focus. The real solution might lie in your gut, your sleep, and your environment. Neuroscience calls it functional remission, and it could be the closest thing we have to a cure. Functional remission doesn't mean your ADHD disappears magically. It means you optimize your body, your lifestyle, so effectively that your symptoms no longer stop you from living the life you want. You stop fighting your brain and you start engineering your life. In this video, we're going to break down the exact 5-step protocol used by functional medicine doctors and neuroscientists to achieve this state of remission without medication. And you'll want to stick around for step number 3 because it completely changed how I think about exercise and saved me from burnout. Today, we're going to deep dive into ADHD. Now, a very important disclaimer right up front. Medication is a lifesaver for many people. There is absolutely no shame in taking it. But the research shows that about 30% of people don't react well to it, and many others just want to see how much they can improve their baseline naturally. The goal here isn't to fix a disease. Functional medicine experts like Dr. Mark Hyman argue that ADHD is often a result of a broken body affecting the brain. When we feed the brain junk, deprive it of sleep, and stick it in a fluorescent-lit cubicle, the ADHD operating system crashes. So the protocol we're covering today is based on the ultramind approach. The philosophy is simple. Fix the body to fix the brain. We are going to be covering the 5 pillars here. Metabolic correction or food, biological rhythms or sleep, somatic engagement or movement, behavioral scaffolding or systems, and finally neuroregulation or training. In step number 1, we're going to be talking about powering up your system, starting with metabolic correction. Your brain is an energy hub. It uses 20% of your body's energy. If you give it bad fuel, it sputters. In ADHD, there's a direct highway between your gut and your brain called the gut-brain axis. When your gut becomes inflamed, your brain often follows, leading to what we commonly experience as brain fog. So the actionable step here is the elimination protocol. Think of this like an allergy test for your brain. The research suggests that for 3 weeks, you should try cutting out the big bads. That is gluten, dairy, and artificial food coloring, especially red 40. I had a friend who swore he had terrible ADHD, and he tried this experiment where he cut out dairy for a month, and he told me that his brain fog lifted more than 50% of the time. It turns out that his body was spending so much energy fighting inflammation from cheese that it had no energy left for focus. Once you remove these triggers, you need to add fuel. ADHD brains are often starving for 3 specific nutrients. Omega-3s, specifically EPA. Think of this as oil for your brain's engine. It makes the signals move faster. Zinc, which helps you make dopamine, and finally magnesium, that calms the nervous system. If you aren't eating salmon and spinach every day, talk to your doctor about supplementation. It's the easiest win in this list. Step number 2 is about resetting the clock or your sleep architecture. This is the one that most people ignore because it's not sexy. Most people with ADHD have something called delayed sleep phase syndrome. Basically, your internal clock is set to a different time zone. You're biologically wired to wake up at midnight and sleep by 10 a.m. The problem is the world forces you to wake up at 7 a.m. So you're walking around with a permanent jet lag. To fix this, we need to use light. The protocol is simple. Morning sunlight. So within 30 minutes of waking, get outside. Not through the window, like outside. Think of the sun as your start button. When the sunlight hits your eyes, it starts a 14-hour timer. When the timer runs out, your body releases melatonin, which helps you go to sleep. If you don't push the start button in the morning, you won't be tired at night. And for the actual sleep, I would say try a weighted blanket. This isn't cozy, it's science. It provides deep pressure stimulation. It's like a physical hug for your nervous system that forces your body out of the fight or flight mode. If you're the type of person who feels physically restless in bed, this is a game changer. Step number 3 is moving with a purpose, also known as green exercise. This is the step that surprised me the most. We all know exercise is good, but here's why it's powerful for your brain. When you work out, your brain releases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that acts like a fertilizer for your neurons. It boosts neuroplasticity by helping brain cells survive, grow, and form stronger connection, keys for learning and memory. But for ADHD, how you exercise matters more than how much you exercise. So running on a treadmill is a close skill. It is repetitive and it allows your mind to wander. But complex sports like martial arts, rock climbing, or tennis are open skills. They require you to make rapid decisions, balance, and react. This wakes up the cerebellum, a part of the brain that is directly connected to the focus centers. The protocol here is green exercise. Research shows that 20 minutes of movement in nature restores attention fatigue better than anything else. So instead of 30 minutes on a stationary bike while watching Netflix, go for a 30-minute trail run or play tennis in the park. You get the dopamine from the movement, the engagement from the complexity, and restoration from nature. It's a triple threat. Step number 4 is about outsourcing your brain, also known as behavioral scaffolding. If you have ADHD, you're likely suffering from time blindness. You literally do not feel time passing the way other people do. So we need to build a scaffolding around your brain to do the work your brain struggles to do. We're going to outsource your brain executive function. Tool number 1 is visual timers. Do not use a phone timer. You'll see an Instagram notification and get distracted. Use an analog visual timer where a red disc disappears as time passes. Seeing that red slice of time vanish makes time real. It creates a sense of urgency that ADHD brain actually loves. Tool number 2 is called body doubling. This is weird, but it works. Body doubling is simply working in the presence of someone else. Use an app like FocusMate or Flow Club, and you basically hop on a video call with a stranger and you say, I'm going to write the script for 50 minutes. Then you just go to work on mute. I have provided a link in the description to both the apps. The social pressure keeps you in the chair. It's like having a spotter at the gym, but for your laptop. It bypasses your brain's resistance to starting. And finally, step number 5 is about training the hardware, also known as neuroregulation. This step is the frontier. Can we actually train the brain to change its electrical patterns? ADHD brains have too many slow waves, or theta, and not enough fast waves, beta, when trying to focus. This is why you zone out. You can try this. One way is neurofeedback, which is like playing video games with your brain waves. It's expensive, but effective for many. But the free version is micro-mindfulness. Meditation is really hard for ADHD brains. Sitting still for 20 minutes feels like torture. So try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. When you feel overwhelmed or distracted, stop and name 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. This forces your brain out of the default mode network, that's the daydreaming mode, and snaps it back into the task positive network. It only takes 30 seconds and you can do it anywhere. So those are the 5 steps to achieving functional remission. Fix your fuel, elimination diet and nutrients, reset your clock, morning sun and weighted blankets, move with a purpose, complex exercise in nature, outsource your brain, timers and body doubling, and train your hardware, which is micro-mindfulness. Here's my advice. Do not try and do all of these at once. This is the recipe for ADHD meltdown. Pick one. Maybe just start with the morning sunlight tomorrow, or buy a visual timer. Just start with one small change can start a domino effect. Remission isn't about being perfect. It's about building a life that works with your brain and not against it. If you find this deep dive helpful, you might want to check out the video on anxiety, where I talk about the types of anxiety, symptoms, and root causes. Or signs your ADHD is actually anxiety in disguise, where I break down the critical differences between ADHD and anxiety and reveal the hidden signs you might be missing. Thank you for watching. And if this video helped you bring some clarity, please consider sharing with someone who might need to hear this and clicking on that like button. You never know who it might help.